the preliminary hearing, because the prosecutors claim that at 10:31, so the night that she comes over, the night that they claim he killed her, he sends this alibi text. Uber said you're here. WYA, where you at, right? Hello, bro, all these texts. And Detective Farrell testified that the texts from David to Celeste continue that night, that there's around a dozen texts from David to Celeste after her Uber arrival, after she arrives at the home. This is the allegation. Again, all about David purportedly confused about her silence. And Farrell testified that there was no additional activity from Celeste's phone after she arrived. Why? The allegation would be because she's dead. And Farrell testified that David's Tesla, the phone, left the Hollywood Hills residence around 11:30 p.m. to make these purported Santa Barbara trips, right? Farrell says the defendant's last text message to Celeste to her phone was April 26, 2025. So this was the day after.
Somewhere between 10:30 and 10:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, prosecutors say a 14-year-old girl was murdered inside a Hollywood Hills rental home. By 10:31, the man accused of killing her was already texting her phone, casually asking where she'd gone. No call to 911, no call to police. Just message after message sent to a phone that would never answer again. That is the image prosecutors want a jury to sit with when singer D4vd, real name David Anthony Burke, finally stands trial for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And after a 5-day preliminary hearing that wrapped up in downtown Los Angeles just this past week.
There was additional evidence that was actually considered in this case that we anticipate being presented at trial. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that additional evidence, only to say that we presented a significant but small fraction of our evidence in this preliminary hearing.
And that is going to be key, because the defense highlighted some arguably significant holes in the prosecution's case against singer David for the alleged murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So what we want to do is talk about what those gaps may be and what the prosecution.
A judge ruled there is enough evidence to send this case forward. Burke, 21 years old, is charged with first-degree murder with special circumstance allegations, continuous sexual abuse of a child, and unlawful mutilation of human remains, and he has pleaded not guilty to every count. Celeste herself had been reported as a runaway out of Lake Elsinore the year before her death, which is part of why her disappearance never drew the kind of urgent search a missing 14-year-old normally would, and her remains weren't even discovered until that September, sitting inside the trunk of Burke's impounded Tesla. Under the law, he is presumed innocent unless a jury says otherwise, and that matters because sitting through 5 days of testimony didn't just build the prosecution's case, it also exposed real documented cracks in it, the kind defense attorneys are already circling before trial has even started. So before we get into those cracks, let's give credit where it's due, because what the state has isn't nothing. Detectives testified that in the weeks after Celeste disappeared, someone using a fake name ordered chainsaws, a body bag, and an inflatable pool delivered straight to Burke's Hollywood Hills rental, the same $20,000 a month property near where his Tesla was later found. DNA testimony connected apparent blood in that garage to Celeste. Cell phone and vehicle data reportedly placed Burke's Tesla driving towards Santa Barbara County that same night with...
Dispute that, but I'm sure the defense will explore that. We'll see. Now, in terms of the alleged dismemberment charge, unlawful mutilation of human remains, detectives testified about these chainsaws, a mop system, cadaver bags, a blue inflatable pool that were all allegedly ordered to David's home using an alias in the days after Celeste's reported death. How a DNA expert testified that evidence from apparent blood stains in the home's garage were consistent with a DNA match for Celeste, that you had a criminalist testify about mats at David's place that had linear cuts and stains that tested positive for possible blood, evidence of an alleged trash bag with stained wipes, alleged cuts to this blue inflatable pool, how blue plastic fragments found in Celeste's remains are allegedly consistent with the inflatable pool that David reportedly ordered and that was found at David's place. That David's Tesla, where Celeste's remains were found, reportedly had 11 air fresheners in it. How testing found possible traces of blood in the car. Silverman suggests that blood could have leaked from the parked Tesla, soaked through the rubber mats, and reached the bricks underneath. And what about the testimony that allegedly right after this supposed killing, during the night of the 23rd into the morning of the 24th, digital data allegedly shows the Tesla traveling to Santa Barbara? that Celeste's passport card was
Celeste's passport card later found abandoned along a highway there, and prosecutors separately pointed to a search saved in the Tesla's own navigation history for directions to Lake Kachuma, a remote reservoir.
Well, the medical examiner said, because of the state of decomp, they can't say for certain exactly like how long of a blade or sharp instrument that was or whatnot. And listen, I think everybody assumes it was probably a knife, but there was a lot of time that passed in between, so it's mind-boggling to me that there was any evidence such as pool or anything still in that garage. I mean, the stupidity, right? If you're trying to cover this up. And part of me wonders, if he just knew he was going to get caught and was just kind of waiting, because this was
Do you think the missing chainsaw is the key?
Yeah, I think that chainsaw might be in Santa Barbara.
Really?
I think on the second or third trip, I think he could have been, getting, because if you look at that second trip, they're contending that it happened around May 5th, around Cinco de Mayo. And May 8th, I think he took another trip up there. And that makes me wonder if it was to dispose of things near that lake or something. But I don't know that for sure. I just think that could be a reason that the ID was ultimately found up there as well. It's like a disposal spot. But why he picked out, how he knew about that place is really my mind. Because I've been there. It's remote. It's just a road that really goes through that area. The roads that go.
Suggesting that's where other evidence might have ended up. Investigators say they pulled hundreds of text messages between Burke and Celeste going back to when she was just 13.
Unless proven guilty. And even before I go into all the potential holes, the prosecution has already presented some arguably compelling evidence at this preliminary hearing. I mean, when it comes to the continuous sexual abuse charge, in my legal opinion, the prosecution has a lot. If they're trying to prove that David had an illegal sexual relationship with a minor over a period of time, when LAPD detective Corey Farrell was on the stand, he went through all of these alleged sexually explicit photos reportedly on David's phone. I'm not even going to get too specific on this, but basically, it was alleged these were images of the singer engaging in sex acts with Celeste. Naked photos. Text messages about Plan B, pregnancy, and abortion, sexual positions, the relationship, emergency contraception. And Farrell says the dates of these conversations with sexual references began all the way back in November of 2023 and continued until March of 2025.